second grade. Today we're jumping into one of my favorite topics, which is rectangular arrays. Arrays is probably a word that is new to you. Arrays are an arrangement of a particular thing made up of columns and rows. Those two vocabulary words are so important because columns go up and down, as you can see, like a Greek column, up and down, and rows go across, left to right. So like seats in an auditorium, side by side, left to right. You can remember that columns are vertical and rows are horizontal. Now these two vocabulary words will kind of be very persistent throughout the lessons. You want to make sure that you know them. Columns up and down, rows left and right. All right, here we go. If you're going to follow along and actually be building some arrays today, you're going to want with you 24 counters. So just like we've been talking about in past lessons, something that you can work with that's all the same size. So 24 pennies, 24 Cheerios, 24 jelly beans, lima beans, you name it, something small that you can work with all the same size. So go ahead and pause your screen, go get those materials, and I'll keep going. All right, so here in front of you is an array. I made an array made of clouds. So in my array, the rows and columns are evenly spaced, so there's the same amount of space between each column and each row. As you can see here, there are different amounts of columns and rows, reminding you that today rows are going across left to right. So I want you to look at my array and tell me, how many rows do you see? How many rows do you see? If you said 4, you are correct. Rows go across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 rows. The question is, how many clouds are in each row? So what are my equal groups here? How many clouds make up each group? So I'm going to count how many clouds in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 clouds in each row. So I'm going to go ahead and label my row. Thanks for bearing with me, giving me a second to make sure that I get everything right for you all while I do this on the computer. Very different, right, than teaching in front of you. So thanks for being so flexible with me. All right, so there are 5. That 5 is pretty teeny tiny, but we're gonna let it rock for now. All right, there are 5. All right. That must mean that in each row there are the same amount of clouds. So I'm going to look at my next row and label it with 5 as well. There are also 5 clouds in this row. In my third row, there are also 5 clouds. And in my last row, again, 5 clouds. Therefore, according to this, there are 4 rows of 5. If there are 4 rows of 5, then my repeated addition sentence will be the following. There are 4 rows of 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 20. 4 rows of 5. 4 5s. All right. If I wanted to switch this up and label it by columns, it would look a little bit different. So let's take a peek at the same array and look for how many columns there are. So go ahead at home and make your array look just like this. And then go ahead and count the columns, remembering that columns are up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. How many clouds are in each column? If you said 4, that is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clouds in each column. So just like the last one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label each column with how many clouds are in it. So we have 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. So to complete this sentence, there are 5 columns of 4. If there are 5 columns of 4, we're going to add 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 20. So much like our first array, 5 4 times is 20, and 4 5 times is also 20. So depending on column or row. The last thing we're going to do with this one is I'm going to pose a question to you. If you were to add on 4 more clouds in an additional column, so add on 1 more column, what would the new total be? If you were to add on 1 more column, go ahead and think. And I will show you what that looks like. All right, so if I were to add on 1 more column, here's my extra clouds. We'd add 1 on here at the end, an extra column, and that would give us 4 more clouds. So I'm going to add a 4 underneath. And how many total columns? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are now 6 columns of 4. So that means I'm going to have to add an additional plus 4 equals 24 total. Nicely done. My last thing is a challenge for you. Can you make an array that has 3 rows of 6 counters? I want you to pause my voice and try on your own. I'm going to then pull up my array that I pre-made for you and show you 3 rows of 6 counters. I changed it up. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows of 6. So there are 3 rows of 6 in my array. I hope that yours looks the exact same. Now with this, there are 3 rows of 6. Therefore, I need to add 6 plus 6 plus 6 gives you a total of 18. Nicely done. Remember that this can also be there are 6 columns of 3. In that case, it would be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. 6 times equals 18. That is all for today. Go on and rock your problem set.